Hi, what's up? Maria speaking here, aka Holy Spicy Chicken Wing. How you doing, Ohana? My piranha. I wanted to talk with you about fear. Hopefully I'll succeed in making you feel better about this abstraction. Once you're done listening to these podcasts while cleaning or drawing something, don't close your eyes, you might fall asleep. But yeah, once you're done listening to this, I want you to be at peace with these concepts. And whenever there's something that is gonna appear on screen, then this little sound will pop. What are you scared about? What must occur for a feeling of nervousness to be impregnated in your system within a few seconds? By the way, I'm sorry if my voice is a little bit different. It's just that I'm a little bit sick and I don't feel my sinuses anymore. And I can't, my hair look like fireworks on my head, c'est pétard, mes cheveux sont pétard. I can't. Let's just breathe. I look like a crazy hobo. What are you scared about? What must occur for a feeling of nervousness to be impregnated in your system within a few seconds? What is it about fear? I'm Dr. Jekyll and Mrs. Jackass. You might not know who I am, and I might not know who you are, but I do believe that you live in the same world as I do. Even people who know or knew you for years, they might not really know you, vice versa. Because you might not know yourself. We evolve, we grow. Do you think that people who don't change might be scared of an alteration of their own persona? Growth is so important, spiritually, emotionally speaking. I'm not saying that we should all reconstruct ourselves, but this is about not fearing metamorphosis, a transformation of some sort, like from the caterpillar to becoming a butterfly process. Sorry, I could be like to becoming a beautiful butterfly process, but I couldn't say it because I'm very honest and I don't like butterflies. They just annoy me. Everyone likes them and find them pretty. I don't. They are so overrated. My favorite insect is the dragonfly. I'm off topic. Back to fear, sorry. Do your relatives or best friends know every little secrets you might hold out of fear for their reaction? I don't think so. It could be the smallest, tiniest, stupidest little secret they won't know. Because fear comes in every shape and size. It is sculptable, moldable. Sometimes one of its variants might be the culture you're being soaked in. For instance, I think in Thailand, people are very, what's the word? They are really superstitious. They're really superstitious. I've been told that culture can bring out fears too, in this sort of way. Or if you want to go deeper, they might even come from past traumas, from the experience of the individuals themselves. No fear, no distractions. So to me, there are no real frontier between you and I. I'm not a total stranger to anyone. We are just beings living, breathing this moment of the present, protecting the people we love and sharing experiences. We bleed the same. Therefore, I hope you will like this modest travel through space and time with me. I just want to be like Ace Ventura, being in perfect harmony, complete osmosis with you. I like to wonder sometimes about how other people act when they are all alone, when no one is watching them. I like to scan every tiny details which others will overlook in a human being, in an environment. I scope to shoot. Take it as you'd like. When some might look at which brand of watch one's wearing, I appreciate to decipher how that particular being might wear it when people's watching them or not. I want my lie to reflect yours. Are they showing it off? Are they scared of one's judgment and they would lightly place their hand on it as a sign of soothing gesture? Will they fondle their watch? I don't speak a lot. I play a game of perceiving. I scope to shoot. You see the difference? I don't like to see what other people show off, what they are talking or blabbering about on and on. Same time of BS sometimes, on and on. I love to play, to see beyond the masks. The masks. The masks. And a lot of times, they aren't even that deep. A lot of people are just scared. Scared of who they are, who they might portray to others. They wear their mask, but I can see how they will cry tonight probably, or scream to their partners once they're home. This world doesn't sicken me. People do, often. People who live a lie. They're sometimes just energy drainers. They are vampires. Take care of yourself for me, please. Know with which type of energy you are associating yourself with in some way or the other. What are you scared about? Who are you when no one is watching? Fear can be traumatic, an unfamiliar feeling. It has an impact on our lives. It is triggering. It helps elevating your heart rate, a sensation to which your body responds negatively to. Except if you like adrenaline rush, like a murderer who just killed someone with an axe, breaking their fucking skull in half, licking the blood out of his fingers. Fear. Common sensations include feeling cold and shortness of breath. It also may include sweating and trembling or tightening of the muscles. Fear has a pejorative connotation. It is something you don't necessarily want to feel, do you? Fear is a figment of your imagination. Fear is hard to fake. We can see it on one's face easily. But negativity attracts negativity. Positivity will always prevail. Some might use their fears in order to fuel their intentions and actions. which might be good, which might be bad. Thing is, you always have a choice. You always have a choice with fear. This is why I tend to believe that you should not allow fear to mess with you. If you feel like doing something, fight for it through the fear. The example can be pretty simple, but here's one. Let's teleport you in class at your old or current school, no matter what age you are. Let's teleport you there. If you're scared to raise your hand in class, fearing that your answer is wrong, or fearing about how the other students will respond to whatever it is that you have to say, just stop, breathe, and do it. Just do it. You shouldn't fear doing simple actions like that. This is the basics. Just stop, breathe, and do it. I remember in school, or even now in college, I used to raise my hand a lot sometimes for one of these reasons. Reason number 1, I had something stupid to say. Reason number 2, I wanted to annoy the teacher with questions. We pay them for it, so I extract their juices like a sociopath. Reason number 3, there's no reason number 3, because I just do it. Even if my answer is wrong, even if the other students don't know what the answer might be, I just do it because I wanted to push myself to my limits. When others will shut their mouths out of fear of the unknown, I speak up because I don't give a fuck about what they might think of me. I never really did. Living with a brain like mine is complicated enough, you know, so I just want to make the best out of it without having to add the other students' consciousness into the equation. Most of the time, all the time. This is why you should think of yourself first. At all costs, you should not fear. I'm such a nutcase. You won't be able to keep it up. But I encourage you to do something you're scared to do today. Except if it's dangerous, then think smart. Do something with an amount of simplicity. It will help in relaxing yourself before doing something scary. I will say again, simplicity is key. Believe it or not, fear is a choice. The difference between average people and achieving people is their perception of and a response of failure, of fear. Basically, you could be a puss or a tiger. Your choice. You can run away forever or fight. Because yes, you do have a choice. As the Japanese proverb goes, fear is only as deep as the mind allows. On which team will you play? The Norwegian philosopher Lars Svensson, in his book The Philosophy of Fear, which I did not read yet, said that fear can be controlled. That fear might be irrational in the sense that it makes us prey to manipulation, but it can be rationally appraised and managed. But we should not forget, fear is usually irrational, and sometimes it can be extreme to the point that it translates into phobia. According to the website Very Well Mind, the top 10 phobias shared by the common of mortals are arachnophobia, fear of spiders and other arachnids. Ophidiophobia, fear of snakes. Acrophobia, fear of heights. Aerophobia, fear of flying. Cynophobia, fear of dogs. Astraphobia, fear of thunder and lightning. Trypanophobia, fear of injections. Social phobia, aka social anxiety disorder, fear of social situations. Agoraphobia, fear of being alone or a place where escape may be difficult. Misophobia, excessive fear of germs and dirts. Phobias and fear are just a disruption in our characters. They are like obstacles towards our goals, to our potentials. I personally believe that they must be conquered one day or the other, otherwise you won't be able to evolve in the best way that you can. You won't be able to fully unlock your abilities in your code, in your system. But as Robin Sharma said, being scared is part of being alive. Accept it, walk through it. The key word is through. We all go through stages of fear and anxiety, but we should not let that be a pitfall to our desires and goals. Western wisdom about the control of our emotions goes back at least as far as the Stoics. Their basic ideas had been independently discovered by the Buddha, who developed a philosophy also based on understanding dissatisfaction and controlling the emotions. You got to understand that sometimes a lot of things might not go in your way. You might feel like life is sometimes unfair or just not what you pictured it to be. But you shouldn't let dissatisfaction ruin who you are inside. You have to learn to control some of your emotions to the best of your capacities. I want to be lost in oblivion. Freedom. I don't have a Stoic's brain at all most of the times because I don't want to control my feelings. I love. I'm a very passionate, impulsive being who just love to project my ideologies in people's face sometimes to dominate them in a way, subtly. But lately I tried to shut it all down. I've shut my thoughts and feelings for a while, putting them on hibernate mode. Because I just turned 25 this September. And I'm scared now. I don't know what to do about my life anymore. I always knew what I wanted before. But due to my past experiences, I don't know anymore. It is just sad. For example, in the field of love or friendships, I have trust issues. The people who I trust the most can be counted on one hand if you cut 2 fingers off of it. And I've said it before, but even the people who I trust the most, it might be only to a 98% degree, not a 100%. The people who have been close to me, my best friends, my family, know that about me, the one that are closest. Just a few. And, I've had friends or love interests before who just forced their hand into my pants whenever they had the fucking slight occasion to do so before. It's called sexual assault. I was more naive than ever and younger. I wish that I had more strength to push these fucking cunts away. I've been a victim of it only a few times in the past, but it still wasn't supposed to happen. And thankfully, if I try to be positive about it, it was never rape. Just some forceful fondling or unwanted sexual touching. A lot of people has gone through that at least once in their lifetime, I believe. But the thing is, I ask myself, because of all of this, who the fuck am I supposed to be? All I did was being friendly, smiling at a friend who I appreciated to talk to every day at school. It was a few years ago. I trusted him, and now, just because that fucker developed a crush on me, wanted a kiss from me, he started to act like a threat to me, forcefully. Bitch was huge. I couldn't stop him until he let go of me. He was forcefully putting his hand into my panties, through my jeans, even if I fight him off of me. Like, this is not natural. This shouldn't be the way, isn't it? I never wanted any of this. Or as another example, second date with a guy. He was supposed to be my boyfriend. Boom, sexual assault. Told him to stop. He finally stopped. Our quote, relationship, unquote, lasted 3 months. He never forced me to do anything again. But why it ended, you ask? Oh, because I didn't want to sleep with the guy. I was a virgin. He still wanted me, but he wanted a break due to other respectful reason, while looking for some pussy. I was just 15, like, fuck you. Thought my heart was breaking, but I never loved him. My ego did. My pride was like, who the hell does he think he is? And you know, even if you're scared of some haters or whatever, if you fear haters and stuff like that, usually you just gotta say to yourself, like, if you're scared of people in general, if you have haters, if you've been bullied in your past, just remember that usually the tiniest dog barks the loudest. So all you gotta say to them is, woof woof for me, bitch. Basically, that's what you gotta say. Woof woof for me, bitch. Okay, deuces. It's been years now that I cultivate and keep my energy to myself. I don't remember the last time I had a date, to be honest. I've had some bad experiences before, and now I am alone. So if you're alone too and listening to this, know that I understand parts of the reasons why already. Some people are really just jerks, vile people, dirty, whatever it is. Humans that aren't truly worth it. It could be in friendships, it could be in love, but they are just not worth it. They're vile. So, you know, I came to a point in my life where it's just as if I wasn't truly there. And I don't know how to explain it, but maybe you will understand it better in this other podcast of mine, which is Dissociation and Death. But sometimes I feel like I keep everything to myself and stay alone as much as I can to kind of not tarnish my energy with bad energies. And I choose carefully people who are around me. You know, I'm very social, very nice to everyone. But it's just like sometimes I don't feel like I'm there because I protect myself so badly. And this is one fear of mine, to be hurt by people now. And I'm just nice to them, but I don't take them to a serious degree at the end of the day, you know? Because I can relate so much to what American Psycho said. There is no real me, only an entity. Something illusory. And though I can hide my cold gaze and you can shake my hand and feel flesh gripping yours, and maybe you can even sense our lifestyles are probably comparable, I simply am not there. And it's kind of hard and harsh to be that way with yourself if you're like me, where you protect yourself so much that you feel like, and you create that reality of yours, and you try to do everything at the same time, and at the same time you do nothing and you just feel empty. It feels very it feels like you're getting torn apart. It's so easy for me to make people trust me, to become their new friend or an acquaintance. I'm social most of the times when I'm out of my room, but I don't seem to be able to bet on people anymore, because my past tells me that I saw the good in people even if they were rotten apples. Which is why I don't let grow the bonds which are fresher during the past few years. I rarely keep contact. I'm a little bit more closed now. Are you? But this is why I'm telling you all of this, because sometimes I'm scared by the Ethiopian nature of my brain, to make everything like a little bit with rose-colored glasses. My perception seems to be distorted now. I feel like being alone will protect me from any type of bad energies, and I just keep on going, and most of the time I'm between four walls, protected and guarded. But I like it here. It's comfortable. I love myself, flaws and all. And if you're like me, you should believe in your own reality. You should know what's good for you. But maybe you might ask me then, but isn't it distorted though, my reality? Because we're alone some of the times, and we think a lot with ourselves. We are a lot in our brains, but your mind can make paradise a living hell, and a living hell a paradise. But you have a choice. If you want to believe in a beautiful reality, then it will be, and if you believe that the reality isn't, then it will. So you should take it as it resonates with you. Fear usually doesn't help us. It has kept me from a lot of people now for years. But I rather be alone than attacked in some sort of way. I rather be protected, because for my mental health it's better. So you get it? Sometimes I just want to be able to make new connections, but I'm just not able to anymore. I'm scared. I'm Jack's complete lack of surprise. You might say to yourself, all I did was give love to people. All I did was me ending hurt by it. Do you? Well, bad experiences come and go, but not every day is going to be bad for you. So don't let fear destroy your wants and needs. Even if you're like, is this all this world has to offer? Like, trash people? I don't know about you, if you ever came across human beings that you like and love to have around, and then bam, you're disgusted, repulsed by the person you once loved or liked, or whatever, whoever it could be, a friend, a cousin, a colleague. It happens. It just does. You won't be able to truly know someone's mind if you aren't them, you know. What a friend is to you depends on your views and opinions, on your past experiences, on everything. You make an idea of them. You have fabricated a concept of them through their patterns, day by day, or whenever you bumped into them. And now it's up to their actions if they're gonna disappoint you or not, considering your expectations of the abstraction you made of them. And I say abstraction because people are only something which exists as an idea in our brains. You know what I mean? Fear is an abstraction. Personas are abstractions to me. Have you ever watched the movie Fear? It's a psychological thriller from 1996 about a possessive control freak who dates a girl while having serious anger issues. Basically, he had this concept of whoever his girlfriend was. He thought she was rich, conservative, a sweet girl overall. And now his abstraction of fear led him to disturbia in the movie. Due to his past, he acted in a way with her that was too possessive, hurting others who approached her out of jealousy. He was scared of losing her. He acted psychotic to an extreme level, and he did it only because of fear. What this taught me was that there are no fears that truly helps you at the end of the day, except if you conquer them, you control them. Because remember, it usually is irrational. It is usually made up in your own head. It makes me think of a time of someone was jealous that I might have found someone else. It's someone who loved me in a way, and he just choked me nearly to death because he wanted to know who the potential other person was, but I didn't have anyone else, so it was kind of a traumatic event because again that was somehow assault. But again, you understand why someone like me is the way that I am, why most of the time I am alone. It's because I don't trust people to not hurt me at the end of the day. People are also deceiving most of the time. I'd rather love them from afar, because if you give them everything, or if you love them and show that you're always gonna be there for them, then they're just gonna fucking hurt you all day, every day. So this is how I believe it to be. It could be whoever, could be a love interest, a friend, but if you show that you're too much there for other people, they're just gonna take it for granted, and they're gonna hurt you most of the time. The people who aren't gonna hurt you are the ones who are meant to stay in your life, I believe, because you vibe with them. And if someone's hurt you, then kick them out. I'm Jack's wasted life. Fear might be the death of virtue. How are you going to succeed in taking a step towards your dream if you're scared of not succeeding? Some people don't even try to do what they really want to do because of their paths, their patterns, their fears. One day, they might wake up, realize they wasted time, and think about the same wish they used to have, which they might have overlooked at a time. Fear might lead you to rest forever in Limbo, Dante's Inferno, hell, filled with what ifs. Too many people are thinking of security instead of opportunity. They seem to be more afraid of life than death. I trust in fear making you lose your ability to function properly. Because of everything that I said before. You could see how not functional it is for me when I need to be less alone in some type of way, but I still have awesome best friends who I can count on and family. But fear, you should erase it most of the times. Use your weakness like a tool and you'll be one fine dynamite being. So, is fear real or imaginary? In some cases it isn't, but most of the times fear is also partly imagined, and so it can arise in the absence of something scary. In fact, because our brains are so efficient, we begin to fear a range of stimuli that are not scary, which is called conditioned fear, or fear something that is not even present, which is called anticipatory anxiety. We get scared because of what we imagine could happen most of the times. And here one of my favorite movies comes to play. Fight Club. If you haven't watched it, maybe you should. Except if you are into beach type of rom-com movies, then don't watch it. This one's raw. Well, it's about an insomniac who suffers from a lot of repressed feelings. So he creates a fight club with his strange friend named Tyler Durden, while the protagonist hates on Marla Singer, a woman who portrays his nightmare for some reason. And geez, I want to be the Marla to someone's insomnia, someone's tumor. I love talking and using my favorite movies and stuff as a reference in my podcasts. It inspires me. Which is the reason why, before going back to this movie, I want to explain something to you, my piranha. Love is hard. Whoever said it was easy is lying. Whoever said to you that life could be like a sparkly rainbow unicorn fart thingy lied. Everything is possible. Life ain't horrible. But fear and time will consume you, eat you alive if you let them. I don't recall the book, but it was a philosophical one where time was impersonated by Kronos, literally eating the reader. I wish I could give you the name of the philosopher, the author, but I read it when I was in school, and it was probably a French guy, a little French fry who wrote it. But it was so cool, the way that he talked about Kronos eating everything on its path. Time eats everything away. Back to Fight Club. I perceive it as a raw movie. There's blood, violence. It's a different dimension of reality. It has layers and I just love it. Edward Norton was a character who just wanted to let it all go and to express his deepest, darkest desires in a way. And therefore, he met and attracted his new friend, Tyler, who was represented as someone who Edward was not, like a yang to his yin, like this IKEA table. He wished he had the courage of his friend Tyler Durden, as if he was his alter ego. I'm not spoiling for those who haven't watched, but if you have already seen it and loved it, then I can confirm that I love you without a doubt. And you might feel my podcast in a different way. Understand what I'm saying on a deeper level with some tiny references that I made since the beginning of this podcast. I love how the movie portrays two men who are nearly polar opposites, and yet they were meant to find each other, to complete each other even through fear, through the abstractions of the world. To be one, a team. Tyler removed and yet increased his fear of unlocking his full potential, and I just adore it. What's up, IKEA boy? There's a quote from Tyler which I really loved. First, you've gotta know, not fear. Know that someday you're gonna die. Memento mori. I'm Jack's inflamed sense of rejection. So due to my past experience that I explained to you before, and well, my ambivert personality focused more on the introvert most of the times, I'm used to scare people away sometimes. Especially if they don't know me at all. They have some already conceived idea of who I am before even talking to me, or they might be scared of me if they know too much about me and how my brains operate sometimes. But some humans are truly just as shallow as a kid's plastic pool, and they'll judge you right away. Or they just like to act like it and play pretend. But aren't we all to some extent though? The devil is real. And he's not a little red man with horns and a tail. He can be beautiful because he's a fallen angel. And he used to be God's favorite. I relate to this quote so much. Do you? Years transform us, deceives us, kills us in some way, and we seems to lose more and more light and innocence, and we lose more stupidity. Oh, for some it stays though, because ignorance is bliss. No brain, no pain kind of people stay stupid and hopeful like them, it's better. They fear the truth. But if you crave for some knowledge and equality in any sort of way in this world, then consider yourself fucked. We're not better as these other human beings. We're not superior nor inferior. Status, money, dreams, whatever. Fuck it all. We are just different. We all have a lighter side of our own personality and darkness within us, our consciousness, which is why we possess emotional intelligence. You are the same decaying matter as everything else, baby. Keep your energy holy and kick-ass like me. Things should be fine. Take your fears and do some Krav Maga with it. Now, I'm not saying if you're scared of putting your house on fire, then just do it. No. I'm talking about overcoming fears and abstraction which are on your way towards a noble goal of yours, resulting in empowerment made from pure gestures. For instance, for my case, it will be maybe to try to trust in people a little bit more now. Especially if I truly want to give someone a chance and if I truly want to be able to love them. You know? But I feel like lost. And Yeah. But in the Daily Stoic site, we recommend us to think of a practice as an immunity. Immunity to fear, immunity to weakness, immunity to your own sense of doubt and hesitation. Practice even what you think you can do, and you might find out that you have more capacity than you considered possible. If you don't even try, you are already failing. Which is why I want to say to you that if you don't even try, you are already failing, Ohana. And it takes time to overcome fear, but it's never too late. Better late than never. I'm Jack's broken heart. Have you ever been scared of losing someone you loved? So much so that it would feel like hell, like escaping the Alcatraz prison if you had to forget about them? Impossible. Have you ever been scared to fall in love with someone? So much so that it would kill you to nurture them through their flaws and mistakes, like murder, like feeling trapped and disrespected. Funny fact, you know what was my favorite poem at 15 and still is? The Fountain of Blood by Baudelaire. It's so weird, like at this age I was always like already kind of dark and edgy. But yeah, let's have a little poem moment here. Let me read it to you, my munchkin. La fontaine de sang. Il me semble parfois que mon sang coule à flot, ainsi qu'une fontaine au rythmique sanglot. Je l'entends bien qui coule avec un long murmure, mais je me tâte en vain pour trouver la blessure. À travers la cité, comme dans un champ clos, il s'en va, transformant les pavés en îlots, désaltérant la soif de chaque créature, et partout colorant en rouge la nature. J'ai demandé souvent à des vins captieux d'endormir pour un jour la terreur qui me mine. Le vin rend l'œil plus clair et l'oreille plus fine. J'ai cherché dans l'amour un sommeil oublieux, mais l'amour n'est pour moi qu'un matelas d'aiguilles fait pour donner à boire à ces cruelles filles. A little translation to those who didn't understand a damn thing. The Fountain of Blood. It seems to me sometimes my blood is bubbling out, as fountains do, in rhythmic sobs. I feel it spout and lapse. I hear it plainly. It makes a murmuring sound. But from what wound it wells, so far I have not found. As blood runs in the list, round tumble the armored bones. It soaks the city, islanding the paving stones. Everything thirsty leans to lap it with stretched head. Trees suck it up, it stains their trunks and branches red. I turn to wine for respite, I drink and I drink deep. Just for one day, neither to see nor hear. Wine only renders sharper the frantic eye and ear. In terror I cry to love, oh, put my mind to sleep. But love for me is only a mattress where I shrink on needles, and my blood is given to whores to drink. Jeez, that sounds depressing, huh? I was in my emo phase. I guess I still am. I still love this poem so much. And it kind of summarized a little bit some parts of my love life. Because when I was younger, men whores wanted me. I didn't know how to protect me, and sometimes even predators, and I got hurt early, but I didn't lose my dignity and pride to them. I always had this dark, sarcastic undertone that could make a man feel like shit for treating me any less than what I deserve without doing anything, and that's cool. But yeah, Despite my innocence and puppy love persona that I always have, I still protect myself a lot, and people feel like my puppy love might be a weakness of mine, but it is not. What you might think is naiveness is not. It's just that I love to love. And as Al Capone said, don't mistake my kindness for weakness. I am kind to everyone, but when someone is unkind to me, weak is not what you're going to remember about me. So, I know my worth. And I want you to know yours too, my piranha. If you're a girl listening to this, or even a boy, no matter what your age is, if you've been used in the past, or if you don't feel as much loved as you wish you did, as much as you give to other people, then you should know just your worth and walk away. Know what it is that you want and hold on to it and claim it and protect yourself. Are you scared of your future? Who you might end up with? Guess it happens to the best of us, huh? Your future is not set in stone, and let's just focus on the present moment. Okay, so don't be scared of the future or the past, because at the end it not might be as helpful as you think it is. To think that all circumstances have to be the same. Let's say, for instance, you are scared that you won't have a job because you didn't have a past job, for instance. Then don't be scared about this, because not everything is the same. Not everything has to be compared to each other. Not every situations need to be compared. Not all circumstances has to have a reference. Maybe all we need is to have faith and trust in ourselves. For instance, let's say again, an example is that you worked, but you didn't work well enough. And you fear that people are gonna notice that you didn't work well, or something like that, to your full potential or anything. Then, it doesn't matter at the end of the day. And if the next day you work and you compare the situation and you're scared as much as you were before with your previous work, then again, it doesn't matter, because you have to create the new version of you and to simply be the person who you want to be, which is most of the time fearless. Sometimes not everything deserves to have our full energy, because it's draining to work on something for too long and to try to perfect it. Perfection doesn't exist. So don't be scared about your work or your friendships or your love life. Nothing has to be perfect. It just have to be right for you. It just have to make sense to you and to whatever it is that you want, to your reality. Fear as abstractions are used to augment and organize a reality we experience so that we can reason about our observations. But abstraction as fear are the smallest unit of reason. It doesn't have a precise physical nature, scientifically speaking. Fear is a chemical response to how our brain is wired, like any other emotions. Do you want to let fear win? If you do, it will dictate your decisions and distort your perception. I'm Jack's cold sweat. I've mentioned quickly phobias earlier. They depend on genetics and environment. It could even come from a learned behavior. For instance, a simple spider. You might fear it because nearly everyone around you is scared of this type of species. It's arachnophobia. This can be cured and treated through gradual exposure to your fear. The result should be desensitization. And what I'm trying to explain to you from the beginning is that you always have a choice, believe it or not. This could be applied to any of your fears, really, even phobias. Repeated exposure to a spider, for instance, will subside your anxiety and trauma of it. Exposure therapy involves slowly and repeatedly being exposed to the object that is feared in a controlled environment. I don't like spiders because of their multiple hairy legs, their multiple eyeballs, sometimes, all the time. It freaks me out. But I wish I wasn't scared of them, because they're just animals, you know? And I love animals so much. So, what would be cool for someone like me in this situation, knowing that I want to be desensitized towards my fear of them? Well, maybe someday out of the blue, with some luck, I might see one spider somewhere in the corner of my living room, and I could start by watching this little spider guy from afar. Next thing you know, I slowly, repeatedly do the same thing over and over for months. I might want to investigate a bigger spider's persona and history in my habitat with time, and to carefully observe it. Then, hopefully in the future, I will create the opportunity of having one spider on my hand. It's called progression. Even through the stoic, insensitive way of working to extinguish an emotional response to a stimuli that formally induced it, it's something that you have to do to overcome your stupid little fears that you wish sometimes you didn't have. I'm Jack's raging bile duct. You know what is more violent than phobias and fears? PTSD. Post-traumatic stress disorder, aka PTSD, is a psychiatric disorder that may occur in people who have experienced or witnessed a traumatic event such as a natural disaster, a serious accident, a terrorist act, war, combat, or rape, or who have been threatened with death, sexual violence, or serious injury. With this little baby, that PTSD, emotional and physical feelings of anger are more intense. If you have PTSD, you may often feel on edge, keyed up, or irritable. You may be easily provoked. But you know what? It's fine, because no matter what demons you have, you can always slay them with faith and willpower and consistency. There are just about some fears that you won't be able to erase as easily as the others, though. I've seen this Vice video yesterday about the horrors of being a Facebook moderator. If you love having some knowledge on some dog stuff, you should check it out if you haven't seen it yet. The guy was explaining about how he started to develop PTSD through his work and how traumatic his experience was. He had a creeping awareness of war crimes and child abuse happening around him because it was his job. But you know, I found it very captivating. All this bullshit happening around the underworld and people taking like a real solid statement of a helping hand with a photo followed by a hashtag to save the planet. It's cute. You know what? At least they are believing that they're trying. Good for them. War dogs and poodles. I always say that, but we are in a jungle. You fight or you will run away forever. You choose. I'm a fighter for whatever it is that I believe in and for whatever it is that I love. My heart knows what it has always wanted, but I'm a stage where my mind disagrees, and it just creates a disorienting confusion that keeps me at bay. MIA. I'm stuck in space and time, but I will try to work on myself to muster the courage that I need in order to create, to make time for myself, or even if it's just to nurture my energy with abundance and to be able to move forward, to not be stuck in a rut. And you know what? Just you listening this whole podcast means the world to me. It shows that you care, that you're here for me as much as I am for you. Telepathically. But it's so much more badass to connect on a spiritual level than anything else. I'm proud of you, my piranha. And you know what's better? You're not a poodle. A little scaredy kitty cat willy poodle surely already clicked out of my podcast out of boredom. Probably scrolled through makeup tutorials or whatever. Something lighter usually. But you're special to me, my little war dog. We love to get deep, to disturb abstraction and defy societal laws. You will fight. You will fight. You're gonna enjoy the hustle, because we are here to win. Always recall yourself that we don't really care about the goal at the end of the day. We enjoy the blood and the journey. It's not about the destination, it's about the journey, the pain and the game. And for whoever it is that is on my journey right now with me, thank you, because I love you. I love you for it. And you know what? Some fears might not be able to go away yet because of our abstractions in the world, our only preconceived ideas. For instance, with me, when I talked about earlier about how I've been hurt, or to some extent even physically speaking, when even though it hasn't been as bad as it could be, which is, I'm so forever grateful for that, but it's just that some things makes my trust very distorted now, and I fear trusting people, and this is what I wanted to share it all with you, for you to know that we are all scared of something. We are all scared of some repetitive patterns and abstraction that we went through in the past, and it's okay, but all you need to do is to truly focus on yourself, know it is that you want, and fight for it in one way or the other, despite how difficult it is. It's just that you gotta honor yourself before anyone else does it. Honor your work, honor your beauty. Try to love yourself, and I always say this because it's really and truly important. Otherwise, how are you going to attract the right people who will be able to love you back? Otherwise, you will attract broken people who will hurt you over and over, because they themselves don't know what they want. Enjoy the journey and don't be scared, because usually it's all up in your head. Go watch Fight Club if you haven't. That might give you some clarity about whatever it is that I'm trying to explain in a way. And yeah, I love you. Breathe deeply with me. I can't feel my sinuses. I can't even breathe properly. I'm sorry if my voice was different this time, because I'm a little bit sick, but I'm getting better. So if you're sick too, I hope you're getting better too. And stay healthy. But yeah, breathe deeply with me. 3 deep breaths. Generally, take just 3 deep breaths. Focus and game on, my war dog.